Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to take your skin from this to this. And if you are interested in seeing how I achieve this, then just keep watching. So the very first thing we want to do is moisturize our lips. So this is my Jack Black Lip Balm in Natural Mint. Don't tell my fiance, I stole this from him. And then we're going to prime our face with the Porefessional by Benefit. Hopefully you guys have been watching my videos and you've seen me use this a couple times. Just make sure you spread this all over the face, especially in the T-zone where you have any visible pores, to make sure that we hide those puppies. After primer, we're going to go in with foundation. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation Matte and Poreless formula, and I'm using the shade 112. And we're going to start in sections. So I have applied it to my chin, my upper lip, and my nose, and with a foundation brush, I'm going to start blending it out. And when I blend out my foundation, I work in sections, and I just press the product in first, and then we're going to go back and buff it in. So using circular motions and pressing motions to make sure that those pores get covered up and the foundation is blended out nice and beautifully. Now I know it seems easier to just put dots of foundation all over your face and then start blending everything out, but I find that the foundation dots will start to dry if you wait too long to start blending them out, and for me, I'm really meticulous when it comes to my foundation, so that's why I work in sections. That way all of the foundation looks beautiful when it's blended out and not streaky because some of it is dry, you know? Then we're going to go in with our Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This is in the shade Fair, and we're going to apply this to the center of the chin, under the nose where we have visible broken capillaries, and then apply it in dots underneath the eyes in this triangular kind of shape, and then onto the forehead between the brows and upward, and down the nose just a little bit. Then we're going to take a smaller dense brush to start blending this out, and again I'm just going to work in sections as I go. Now I'm not too worried about the concealer drying because the consistency is a lot thicker than foundation, so we don't worry about that. And when you're blending your under eye, make sure that you take it all the way up to your lash line and then start dragging it downward, as you can see here. And then also you're going to take it up onto the side of your nose. This is how you're going to achieve a flawless concealer look instead of like raccoon eyes, because I know we've all been there before. Then once we've got everything blended out, we're going to want to go in with a powder. This is a translucent powder by Tarte called Smooth Operator, and a powder brush, and we're just going to set all the areas where we placed concealer and in our smile lines to make sure everything dries down and is nice and powdered. And because the concealer's consistency is so thick, you definitely don't want to skip this step, otherwise later on it's going to get real creasy and real nasty looking, so always make sure that you set that concealer. And now for the rest of the face that wasn't set, we're going to use a powder foundation. Now you don't have to use a powder foundation, you could just use another translucent powder, but I like a little bit more coverage. So I'm taking this big fluffy brush and I'm going to apply this powder to all of the areas that I did not touch yet with my other translucent powder. Since this is a powder foundation, I'm going in very lightly. I don't want to get too cakey here. And when there's pretty much nothing on this brush, I'm using it to blend out that translucent powder so everything looks nice and smooth. And then we're going to magically get some eyebrows before we go in with our contour shade. Now, side note, my camera didn't film me putting on bronzer, so you can see my skin is already bronzed. But you just want to follow these exact steps with your bronzer before you go in with contour. So I'm going to dip into the shade that's best for my skin, and I'm going to start at the top of my ear and take it angularly downward towards the corner of my mouth, but I'm just stopping halfway, as you can see here. And I'm going to do it again on the other side so you can see, but look at how much of a difference it makes with just a little bit of a darker shade on the cheeks. So again, start at the corner of your ear and take it angularly downward towards the corner of your mouth, stopping halfway. And you want to just go back and forth, and if you saw, I only dipped my brush in twice to the contour color, and then after that's applied, I'm going to go back in with my bronzer brush and just blend out the top edge and the bottom edge so nothing looks too harsh. And now for nose contour, you want to take a very small blending brush and dip it once or twice into that contour shade. Then we're going to start in that little area between your eyebrow and the top of your nose bridge. We're just going to take it down following our natural bone structure. And again, it's important to go in very lightly at first, and you can darken if you would like to later, but we don't want to have too much product on this brush. And so I'm taking this upward towards my eyebrow so I can get that nice, beautiful contour shape and not look like there's any starts and stops in it. Then we're gonna work on the bulb of the nose, or whatever you want to call it. So we're making a V shape right above our nostrils, and then we're going to connect that back to the lines that we made on the top of the nose. Man, that's a lot to say. And then to make sure everything is blended and highlighted, we're going to take this extra long flat brush and apply our powder foundation right down the center just to brighten up that area a little bit. Take it in between the brows. And then I'm going to use this to carve out this contour. Now this is an extra step that is not totally necessary, but if you feel like your color went too low or is a little bit muddy or whatever the case is, you can totally clean it up this way. Just blend everything downward after you've applied the line, and then you're wanting to go back in with a powder brush on top of everything just to make sure there's no like super harsh lines. Of course you want structure, but you don't want it to look like you drew a line on your skin, you know? And then just to make sure everything on my nose contour is blended out, I'm just going to tap this over the entire nose. And I know I'm kind of bouncing around here, but now we're going to work on the corners of the forehead, and this is super easy. You just tap into your contour shade again and apply it to the very corner of your forehead, like I'm doing here. I'm pressing it in, and then I start to blend it out. And I'm not going to go all the way across the top of my forehead because I feel like the shade is too dark for that, but I am going to take it down my hairline towards my temples to connect it down to the cheek contour, and that's about it. And now for what seems to be everybody's favorite part, we're going to highlights. This is my Revolution Vivid Baked Highlighter in the shade Golden Lights. And we are going to take a highlighter brush here and dip into it just a little bit, tap off any excess, and start applying this to the tops of our cheekbones. And this part's pretty self-explanatory. The only thing I would say is just to take the highlighter up and around your eye, kind of in like a C shape. Now, depending on what you want the structure of your face to look like, don't take your highlighter back all the way towards your hairline. Since we put our contour shade there, we're going to want to leave that area alone. And then we're going to highlight above the eyebrows. And one more cool way to apply your highlighter is onto the brow bone and then blend that down into your cheekbone. You have a really nice put together highlighted look. And then of course we go onto the tip of the nose and onto the cupid's bow to finish up the highlight. And for the last step, finally, I know we've been doing a lot, but we're gonna go into blush. So I am using the Morphe palette and a shimmery kind of peachy color blush. I'm going to dip into that very lightly, and then instead of applying straight onto the apples of my cheeks, I'm going to turn my brush sideways and apply to the sides of my cheek first. I'm just going to start blending that up into my bronzer, press it in a little bit onto the apples of the cheeks, and then just work my way back and make sure it's all blended into the bronzer and the highlight, and everything just looks amazing. And yeah. And because we want to blend everything out, go back in with the clean powder brush, brush over everything once, and you are good to go. And that is how you achieve this flawless face, according to me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and I hope it helped you out. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment down below if you have any questions. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you guys in my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.